In a world shaped by economic power, political tension, and global crises, one forum stands at the center of it all, a gathering of the largest economies on Earth, shaping policies that influence every nation, every business, and every life on the planet. This is the G20. The G20, or Group of 20, is a major international forum composed of 19 countries plus the European Union, representing both advanced and emerging economies. Its members include Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, the UK, the United States, and the European Union. The G20 economies account for roughly 85% of global GDP, over 75% of international trade, and about two-thirds of the world's population. Behind closed doors, world leaders negotiate on issues that shape our daily lives: global financial stability, interest rates, food security, climate change, international trade, debt relief for poorer nations, digital currency and cybersecurity, and geopolitical tensions. The G20 cannot force nations to act, but its decisions often become global policy. For the 2025 summit in South Africa, 42 countries and organizations have confirmed attendance. This number includes 19 of the G20's member states. Note, the U.S. is not sending any officials. 16 guest countries, plus 6 countries that represent regional economic communities in Africa, the Caribbean, and East Asia. As for absentees, the United States is not represented at the summit at all. Among G20 members, Russia, Mexico, and Argentina are not sending heads of state or government. Instead, they will be represented by ministers or Sherpas. China is also sending a senior official, Premier Li Qiang, rather than President Xi. These absences reflect diplomatic tensions, differing national priorities, and, in the case of the U.S., a broader political boycott linked to Trump's criticisms of South Africa. Ramaphosa, G20, dispute Trump's criticism of South Africa. Trump has repeatedly accused South Africa of confiscating land from white Afrikaner farmers and claimed there is persecution or even genocide against them. Based on these claims, he said he would cut U.S. funding. He also expressed strong skepticism about attending the G20 summit in Johannesburg, calling it a total disgrace that G20 is being held in South Africa. In July 2025, he reiterated that he might send a proxy rather than attend, citing very bad policies in South Africa. By early November 2025, Trump escalated. He announced that no U.S. government officials would attend the summit. The U.S. formally warned SA against pushing for a joint statement at the G20 summit without U.S. agreement. Ramaphosa's response and diplomatic push. Ramaphosa has strongly pushed for Trump's participation. During a Washington visit, he told Trump he didn't want to hand over the G20 presidency to an empty chair, but wanted to hand over the gavel to him. He has defended South Africa's policies, particularly the land reform law, the Expropriation Act, saying it is meant to address historical inequality, not unjust confiscation. In his State of the Nation address, Ramaphosa pushed back on external pressure. We will not be bullied. More recently, he said the G20 summit will go ahead despite absences. He noted that, while he hoped the U.S. and Trump would attend, the summit won't be derailed by a boycott. Logistical, strategic moves by South Africa. South Africa has even asked China to postpone naval exercises involving China and Russia that were scheduled in its waters around the same time to avoid security or logistical complications during the summit. This reflects how serious South Africa is about making the summit work and ensuring smooth operations, even amid diplomatic tensions. Broader implications and stakes. The U.S. not attending or sending no officials would be symbolically significant because South Africa is hosting the G20 for the first time and plans to hand over the presidency to the U.S. in 2026. Ramaphosa has framed the G20 under South Africa's presidency as a chance to center global South issues: development financing, trade equity, and institutional reform. From South Africa's perspective, while they prefer full U.S. engagement, They are prepared to proceed without it and still aim to deliver substantive outcomes. Analysis and interpretation. Domestic versus international narrative. Trump's messaging heavily leans into domestic political narratives, e.g. white farmers, genocide, rather than multilateral diplomacy. Some analysts argue his claims are not supported by evidence and are being used to justify a more confrontational stance toward Pretoria. Ramaphosa's balancing act. Ramaphosa appears to be playing a dual role, defending South Africa's sovereignty and policies